My cousin stole my wedding photos for online catfishing scams. Now a stranger at my door claims to be my husband and he's furious. I 28F. Never thought I'd be writing this, but here I am at 2 a.m., hiding in my bathroom with the door locked while a complete stranger is knocking on my front door claiming to be my husband. Let me back up. 3 years ago, I had what I thought was a perfect wedding. Small ceremony, close friends and family, beautiful venue. My husband and I splurged on a photographer because those memories matter, right? We got hundreds of gorgeous photos, us exchanging vows, cutting cake, first dance, all of it. I shared them with family, including my cousin who lives across the country. We've never been super close, but we grew up together and I thought we were on good terms. Fast forward to last week. I was scrolling through Instagram when I got a message request from someone I didn't know. Hey, I think someone is using your photos to catfish people. They sent screenshots of a dating profile with MY wedding photos, but with a completely different name. The profile claimed to be a 30-year-old widow looking for a second chance at love. I felt sick. Those were MY special moments being used to scam people. I did some digging and found profiles on 3 different dating sites using my images. The stories varied slightly. Sometimes I was a widow, sometimes divorced, sometimes just looking for fun. But they all used my face, my dress, my day. It didn't take long to figure out who was behind it. Only family had access to the full album, and when I checked social media, my cousin had mysteriously come into money recently. Designer clothes, fancy restaurants, weekend trips. She'd always been struggling financially before. I confronted her via text. She denied it at first, then admitted everything when I threatened to go to the police. Apparently, she'd been running romance scams for over a year using my photos. She'd chat with men online, build relationships, then start asking for money, emergency medical bills, travel costs to meet them, whatever story worked. She'd collected thousands of dollars from at least a dozen victims. I was furious. I demanded she take down all profiles immediately and return the money. She agreed to remove the profiles but claimed she'd already spent the money. I told her I was still considering legal action and blocked her number. I thought that was the end of it. I was wrong. Tonight, around midnight, someone started pounding on my front door. My husband is away on a business trip, so I was alone. Through the peephole, I saw a man I'd never seen before. Mid-40s, disheveled, clearly agitated. "I know you're in there," he shouted. "We've been talking for months. You said you loved me." My blood ran cold. This man thought I was the person he'd been corresponding with online. Somehow he'd found my actual address. I called the police immediately, but they said it would be at least 30 minutes before anyone could come out. Meanwhile, this stranger alternated between angry shouting and desperate pleading. He mentioned sending over $15,000 for my mother's cancer treatments and plane tickets that I never used. I'm terrified. I've texted my husband, but he's on an overnight flight. I called my neighbor who said he'd come over, but he's not answering his door. The man outside keeps saying he just wants to talk, that he forgives me for lying, that we can work this out. The police should be here soon. I don't know what's going to happen. I don't know if my cousin gave out my address or if this man tracked me down some other way. All I know is that her scams have put me in physical danger, and I'm scared. I'll update when I can. If anyone has dealt with something similar or has advice, I could really use it right now. Update 1. It's been 48 hours since everything went down, and I'm still shaking. The police finally arrived after what felt like forever. They talked to the man, let's call him Jay, outside my door. Turns out he'd been dating my online persona for 8 months. He'd sent thousands of dollars for various emergencies, and they had planned to meet this weekend. When he arrived in town early to surprise me, he used the address my cousin had given him. The officers explained the situation to him, that I was a victim too, that someone had stolen my identity. Jay broke down completely. It was heartbreaking to watch this grown man realize he'd been manipulated so thoroughly. The police took his statement and mine, and they're treating this as a fraud case now. After Jay left with the officers, my neighbor finally showed up. He'd taken a sleeping pill and hadn't heard his phone. He stayed with me until my husband could get home early the next morning. I've spent yesterday filing reports, changing locks, and installing security cameras. My husband is furious. Not at me, but at my cousin and the situation she put me in. We're consulting with a lawyer tomorrow about our options. The worst part, my cousin is still denying responsibility for giving out my address. She claims Jay must have found it on his own. But how would he know where I live unless she told him? The profiles used my real first name but a fake last name. I've also discovered 2 more men who were being catfished with my photos. They found me through social media after Jay posted warnings in some online forums. Thankfully, they've just sent messages and haven't shown up at my house. My parents are devastated. They keep apologizing for their niece's behavior and offered to help with security costs. My aunt, her mother, called crying, saying she had no idea what her daughter was doing. The family is fractured now. I'm still processing everything. One minute I'm angry, the next I'm scared, then I feel guilty for these men who were deceived using my face. I keep thinking about how differently this could have gone if Jay had been dangerous. Update 2. It's been 2 weeks, and things have escalated beyond what I ever imagined. After consulting with our lawyer, we filed formal charges against my cousin for fraud, identity theft, and endangerment. The police took it seriously once they realized how many victims were involved. My cousin was arrested yesterday. Apparently, she wasn't just using my photos. She had been running similar scams using photos of other family members and friends. The total amount she scammed is estimated to be over $80,000 for more than 20 people across multiple dating sites. What's worse, when the police searched her apartment, they found a notebook with addresses, personal details, and social media information for everyone whose photos she'd used, including mine. She had backup plans in case any of her victims tried to find the real people in the photos. It wasn't just opportunistic, it was calculated. Jay has been in touch through the detective handling the case. He's joined a support group for romance scam victims and is working with authorities to try to recover some of his money. He sent an apology for frightening me that night. I can't help but feel sorry for him. My husband and I have made all our social media accounts private, and I've asked family members to stop sharing photos of us online for now. We're even considering moving when our lease is up in a few months. I jump every time there's a knock at the door. The hardest part has been the family fallout. My aunt is devastated and keeps calling to apologize. Some relatives think we're overreacting by pressing charges, saying family should handle things privately. Others have completely cut ties with my cousin. Holiday gatherings are going to be incredibly awkward this year. I've started seeing a therapist to deal with the anxiety and trust issues this has created. It's hard to accept that someone I grew up with, someone I trusted with precious memories, could put me in danger for money. Update 3. 6 months later, and I'm finally ready to share the conclusion to this nightmare. My cousin pleaded guilty to multiple fraud charges. She's been sentenced to 18 months in prison and will have to pay restitution to her victims, though the judge acknowledged most people will never get their money back. During her sentencing hearing, she finally admitted everything. She claimed she started catfishing just for fun after a bad breakup, but then realized how easy it was to manipulate lonely people. When someone sent her money the first time, it became addictive. She apologized to me directly in court, but it felt rehearsed and hollow. We've moved to a new apartment in a secured building. I still check the peephole twice before opening the door for anyone. My husband and I decided against having a social media presence altogether now. Our wedding photos, once a source of joy, now make me feel exposed and vulnerable. We're considering renewing our vows next year just to create new memories that aren't tainted. The most unexpected development has been my relationship with Jay. After months of communication through the detective, we eventually met for coffee in presence of my husband. He's not the angry, desperate person from that night anymore. He's just a kind man who was taken advantage of during a lonely period in his life. We've actually formed a strange friendship. He's even dating someone new, someone he met in person through mutual friends. As for family relationships, things will never be the same. My aunt has become almost reclusive from shame. Several relatives still think I overreacted. My husband and I have established firm boundaries about what information we share with family now. The whole experience has changed how I view privacy and trust. I'm more cautious about everything, who I share photos with, what details I reveal about my life, who I allow into my inner circle. It's sad to live with that level of suspicion, but it also feels necessary now. If there's anything positive that came from this, it's awareness. I've spoken at 2 community workshops about online scams and identity theft. If my story prevents even one person from being victimized, maybe some good can come from this mess. I never thought my wedding photos would lead to all this, but here we are. Life is unpredictable that way.